Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of WCTV. Today, we are joined by Bunmi. Bunmi is an engineer and playwright. Hello, Bunmi.
Hi, Simi. Thank you for having me on Witty TV.
Thank you for joining us today. In this series, we are talking to women to talk about how they've used technology to build their passion. I know you're the founder of Cocobean Projects. Can you tell us a bit about what that is?
So Cocobean Project is an interactive technology platform, a creative interactive technology platform where we're trying to create using both technology and storytelling, and particularly storytelling from the African diaspora, the African society, and different. And I think the long-term goal with that is to tell stories from different countries and different societies and cultural groups in Africa. But we want to tell these stories in a new way using technology from anything from mobile gaming to VR. So that's
Awesome. That was really good. It's so happy to have you on, especially because I've been to one of your plays and watched one of your plays, which we'll talk about much later. So you mentioned that you are a playwright, so you're trying to create these stories and share these unique stories using technology. But what made you want to start building on this passion outside your day role? Because I know you're a developer, you work as a software engineer. Could you share a bit more about that?
so I love playwriting. Like I love plays, I love the theater, and I love art in general. And while I was at uni, I used to do a lot of shows with like the African Caribbean Society, with the African Caribbean. When I started working, I felt like I was missing sort of that creative aspect in my life. And I was doing other things in my spare time to kind of bring that bit of creativity. Like I would have a house party and I will have like some technology and like some creative aspect to it. But I was also missing storytelling, writing plays, and I joined and then I submitted one of my plays to the Royal Courts theaters writing groups, and I got in, and it put in a little bit of spark that maybe I can continue to write, but I didn't want to write full time because I also love technology. And one day I was just sitting down and I was like, why don't I try to see if I combine both of these things, I can get something out of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. And it's really fascinating how you put yourself forward to get an opportunity, and that kind of spurred you on. Would you say that there are any skills, like in terms of technical skills, you already have that kind of have made Cocoa Bean projects a reality?
I think, yeah, so learning about software engineering was and doing that day to day. And I think particularly going to hackathons also gave me the confidence that if I wanted to create something, I could create it very quickly, because in the hackathon setting, you have an idea and you have to make some sort of a POC at the end of it. So that gave me like the confidence that I can actually have this idea and bring it to fruition, because if I can bring something into fruition in a day or 2 days, then I can do that if I have a month, no matter what the idea was. So that sort of gave me that confidence to kind of to bring the idea forward, I would say. And I love learning, and I also take it as like a learning opportunity, because I think as a software engineer, you're constantly learning. And I think that drive to want to learn made the process a lot smoother for me, because I didn't, every time I reached a roadblock, I saw it as an opportunity to learn how to do something.
So I had the pleasure, almost pleasure, of attending one of your experimental viewings of your play Love versus Fear and My Mother's Prayers. So this was in London, but I know in 2017 that play was at Edinburgh Fringe Festival. In 2018 you had your experimental viewing, and in 2019 you were at Afrotech Fest. When I attended, it was such an amazing experience to be able to be in a play, but also be able to interact with the play. So my question now is, how did you use technology to make that play interactive? I know that there was some audience participation involved. Could you share a bit more on that?
Yeah, so the way I looked at it is that when I was writing the play, I really wanted, I'm happy you felt that way because that was the aim to really make people feel like they were involved in like the characters' decisions. I had been to like a couple of interactive things. Some were just gaming and with the audience, where all audience were playing together, and then some were more a you answer a yes or no question, like kind of what we have now interactive um, shows we have, but I wanted the audience to be excited in the interactivity. So I decided to create a game at certain points so that the stakes were just as high for the audience as it was for the character. And to make that game, I used P5JS, and I also used sockets so that I could get the audience to communicate with one another and they could communicate with the game at the same time. And it was mostly built using JavaScript.
Okay, so those are JavaScript frameworks you just shared with us.
Yeah, so there are some JavaScript libraries.
Oh, nice. How did you make the play physically possible? So in terms of the space and basically projection, was there any kind of planning that had to be done for that to work?
Yeah, so there was a lot of planning and I tried a couple of things to kind of get the play to the point where it was at. I tried using maybe if the audience were instructed of what to do using audio only. I tried to create my own local network so people could connect to it and they could play with the game. So I did like a different POCs, and what I would do is that I would get a couple of friends together and at every point try different things with them to see kind of what would work best. So that's sort of how I came about. And at the end of the day, I found that using a projection to kind of help guide the audience on what to do work the best. And I've always been very interested in like projection and projection mapping. And I found that putting the character at different points of the stage helped with the storytelling and helped with the interactivity. Having the narrator have an audio also just add a bit of color to the story. So it was a lot of different trials, but at the end of it, the end product that I got all worked together.
Thanks for sharing that kind of your thought process behind it all. I guess my last question now is, do you have any tips for any aspiring engineers who want to infuse their passion with technology? I know yours is storytelling, but it would be nice if you could share some tips you think can span across all passions and how to get something off the ground.
I would say just do it. Like whatever you think about doing, like it might sound like insane to somebody else, but I think just do it. Like yourself just to see what you can do. And I think take it as a learning experience, because I find that when you're even just a technologist, like you grow better when you do things you love with that skill set. So I would say take it as a learning experience and just do it. Like even start off with a small POC of that idea and just like keep working on it till it gets bigger and bigger. But I would say just start, like, and don't be bogged down by what other people will think about the idea. Just start it and then develop from there.
Thank you, Bunmi. That's amazing advice. It's been nice to just kind of hear about your journey. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. This has been an amazing episode. I'm going to make sure I leave some of Bunmi's links after this so you can keep in touch with what Cocobean Projects is doing. Thanks for joining us, Bunmi.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.